A Hong Kong court has delivered a guilty verdict against the former media mogul and pro-democracy China critic Jimmy Lai. Lai, seen here in archive footage, was convicted of colluding with foreign forces and publishing seditious material in his Apple daily newspaper. Lai was one of the first public figures charged under China's national security law and has been behind bars since 2020. He faces life imprisonment. Well, Tom Grundy, editor-in-chief of the Hong Kong Free Press, joins us now from Hong Kong. Thank you so much for joining us here on DW. Tom, a judge said there was a, quote, indisputable evidence that Lai conspired to undermine national security. What evidence are they referring to here?
Hi, Hannah. Well, they're talking about 156 opinion pieces, tweets, interviews. Judge Esther To, one of the handpicked security law judges, just passed down the verdict in the last few minutes, and there is a 855-page judgment to go with it. She said that Lai has been evasive, unreliable, and that his actions amounted to some American calling upon Russia to take down, the government in Washington. She said that he harbored resentment and hatred for China from an early stage, and she pointed to WhatsApp exchanges with his aide, an ex-US intelligence officer, Mark Simon, where they had sought to arrange meetings with the likes of then US Vice President Mike Pompeo and then US Secretary of State during a Fox News interview. So this is seen as a test of judicial independence and press freedom, obviously, in Hong Kong. And it's worth bearing in mind that these are handpicked judges and that Jimmy was denied his first choice of lawyer.
Yeah, that judge certainly didn't hold back there. And what's that going to mean now going forward? I mean, is this verdict going to set the boundaries for what kind of commentary or criticism is acceptable from Hong Kong media? And I mean, you can definitely include what you think it's going to be like for your own media company there in your answer.
I will say that nothing is particularly going to change because what has changed was already been baked in the wake of the raid on Apple Daily, which indeed was, a salacious tabloid in many respects, but also did a lot of investigative journalism. It actually printed protest posters, etc. When that was shuttered, that created the chilling effect that it probably was intended to do. There's 1,000 journalists out of work, maybe a dozen odd news outlets that have shuttered. And even for us, who are proudly independent, in English, the opinion section, we have to be very selective about, although we do kind of struggle through and manage to get the hard news out. So, we are 5 years into the security law here in Hong Kong. There's been dozens of civil society groups that have disbanded. So people have, got the message during this $1 million sort of security law crackdown, if you will.
Yeah, so on that, I'm going to dig a little deeper here. How will you handle the reporting on this story as an outlet based in Hong Kong?
I would say we can manage to get the hard news out. Court reporting is considered one of the safer kinds of journalism. There are actually 2 newer, small news outlets that are dedicated to it. But that's not to say that us and others haven't been immune to harassment, intimidation, bureaucratic scrutiny. We've just come out of a 20-month tax inspection. But now, we're going to be reporting on the sentencing, which I think we expect in January. Jimmy is 78 years old. There is a lot of concerns about his health. His children have said he spent a lot of time in solitary confinement. And in August, we heard during the trial that he was having heart palpitations and had to wear a heart monitor. So I don't know if that will be accounted for in the mitigation hearing, but that's our next story. But generally speaking, I'd say that we can report on the local daily hard news and will continue to do so.
Of course, there's a lot to cover there. Well, Tom Grundy, thank you so much for your time and for joining us here on DW.
Thank you.